Hi, my name is Robert Chelle, and I'm an attorney with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists physicians who are coming out of training, either residency or fellowship, with their first employment contract. Today, I am going to talk about moonlighting in residency. So when I say moonlighting, I mean kind of working on a part-time basis for either the facility that you're training in or potentially an outside facility and getting paid at a much higher level than you would as a resident or fellow. So first, the average kind of annual compensation for a resident is around $60,000, less at the beginning and then inches up a little bit more towards your PGY3 or later, and then fellows as well. It's a little higher than that. But in short, it's not a substantial amount of money for anyone. And for those with families, getting by during residency is extremely difficult. And so, although I know that residents are dealing with lack of sleep and high stress and just not a lot of time, even being able to do one or two shifts a month can be, a couple extra $1,000, which could make a significant difference if someone is struggling to get by during training. So, how can you moonlight and where are, the opportunities to be found? Well, first, you need to identify where you are in training and then whether the state that you're in allows those in training to moonlight. So usually, and I'm saying this in a broad level, I'm not talking about any one specific state, but usually most states will follow some kind of USMLE or COMLEX progress track. And then once you get to a certain level or have passed all of that, you can then apply for full licensure, which would then allow you to, moonlight for other facilities or the facility that you're working at. Those in their internship year usually have some kind of training permit. I know for a fact other states have the same thing, where you will have a training permit while you are in training, and then there are steps where you can then apply for full licensure. But you need to check and see what is necessary in your state if you are interested in doing some kind of moonlighting. Now, the opportunities for moonlighting really depend upon specialty. Those in primary care or internal medicine who are able to do hospitalist work, emergency medicine, urgent care, even fill in on the weekends in primary care potentially, will have a lot more opportunities than those in surgical specialties. Derm, pathology. So, these are things that may not have plentiful job opportunities or moonlighting opportunities during training. But it's also going to be dependent upon where you are geographically as well. If you're in residency or fellowship, you certainly aren't going to travel and do locums work. You're going to need to do things locally. And so some people train in rural facilities where they simply don't have those opportunities. They may have to drive a little bit in order to find a potential moonlight opening, but it's going to be up to you to determine how far is too far, and then whether opportunities exist in the community that you're in. I mean, the easiest way of finding if there are moonlighting opportunities is, all right, determine, obviously what specialty you're in, but, and then contact facilities and just see if they have or are looking for, people to fill in for a shift or two. This isn't going to be a regular thing. No one's going to do two moonlighting shifts a week while you're a resident or fellow. There's just no time for that. And even if there were, you would be so exhausted by the end of it that it would be, lead to complete burnout and probably some kind of clinical errors as well. But as I said before, even one or two shifts a month can make a drastic difference in pay. If you're working in the ER or as a hospitalist, you could get anywhere from $125 to $225 an hour, depending upon the community that you're in. And so just multiply that times either 8, 10, 12-hour shift, and it could be a significant amount of money very quickly. A couple other things to think about. One, anywhere that you're moonlighting, they have to provide, or at least they will provide, your medical malpractice insurance. And so just to make certain that if you are going to practice with them, that they are going to pay for your tail if it's a claims-made policy. I have other videos on that. You can take a look at it if you want more information about that. But a medical malpractice policy is not like personally dependent, it's job specific, if that makes sense. So you're gonna have some kind of medical malpractice insurance for whoever you're working, or you're training with. But if you were to go somewhere else, that policy doesn't follow you. You would need a separate policy for a different employer. So just make certain that that is in place before you start providing care. I mean, what you wouldn't want to do is give a couple of shifts a month for, a couple of years of training, and then they make you pay for your own tail, which potentially could be thousands of dollars. One, it's especially dependent, and then how long you work for them, but that's not something you want to have to deal with. So moonlighting can be a great solution for those to make money while they are in residency or fellowship, but there are a bunch of hoops you have to jump through. As I said before, one, you need to identify what the licensing requirements are in your state and then what you can do with those specific licenses. Two, you need to identify potential opportunities. Contact the facilities directly. I mean, you can always go online and do a job search or ask certainly the others in your training group if they have moonlighting opportunities as well. And then three, make sure the malpractice policy covers you during and then after you are done moonlighting. And then when you move on to your full-time job after you're done with training, there are some other kind of complications when it comes to working in what I would call outside activities, moonlighting, locums, that type of thing. But your employment contract will dictate the details of what you can and can't do while you're employed. But maybe that's a good video that I can make down the road. Anyway, if you have any questions about your employment contract, independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description. You can reach us through our website. It's listed below as well. If you have any other questions, I have a bunch of videos on here. I may have already answered it. So I would urge you to search around the channel and look at some of the other videos. So anyway, appreciate you watching the video.